Good morning, children.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
We just started our biology portions yesterday, and just introduction I had taken. I hope you're remembering what we discussed yesterday. We started with life processes, the term life processes, and we listed out 4 major life processes. Who is remembering the 4 processes that we listed
I'll
out?
say.
Yes.
Nutrition,
Nutrition,
transportation,
transportation,
excretion,
excretion,
respiration.
respiration. And we started with autotrophic nutrition. What is autotrophic nutrition? Savio, tell me what is autotrophic nutrition?
The green plants make food by their own
Yeah.
in the
Using?
presence of carbon dioxide and water.
Yeah.
And
In presence of?
in presence
In presence of?
and
2 things.
Sunlight and chlorophyll.
Sunlight and chlorophyll. So sunlight, chlorophyll, water, carbon dioxide. These are the 4 requirements. Carbon dioxide and water are the raw materials, but they need the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. And examples? Can you give me examples? Green plants anyhow. Other than green plants, who can prepare, who can carry out autotrophic nutrition? You've learned in class 8.
Amoeba.
No. Blue-green algae, have you heard? Cyanobacteria or blue-green algae?
Yes, ma'am.
So they contain chlorophyll, and they also can carry out autotrophic nutrition. And children, we have already learned about autotrophic nutrition, the lower classes, and you know that we can even call it as photosynthesis. When plants perform it in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, you call it as photosynthesis. And why chlorophyll is very important? Why only green plants can prepare food by means of photosynthesis? Or why chlorophyll is essential to carry out autotrophic nutrition? What is the role of chlorophyll? Class 8, I think you have learned. Why chlorophyll is necessary? Why plants without chlorophyll cannot carry out photosynthesis? Who can tell me?
Because they carry chloroplast.
No, my question is, what is the function of chlorophyll? What do they do?
They absorb sunlight.
That's it. They absorb or they capture solar energy. Chlorophyll helps the plants to trap the solar energy. So that is why chlorophyll is very, very important for carrying out photosynthesis. Autotrophic nutrition is a mode of nutrition in which green plants prepare their own food using simple inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water in presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Example, green plants, certain bacteria. I told you about cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. And here you can see the equation for photosynthesis or autotrophic nutrition. And the 2 raw materials needed are carbon dioxide and water. And what is formed? Plants prepare food. What food they are preparing? They are preparing carbohydrate. So which carbohydrate? Glucose. This is, you know, these formula. Carbon dioxide and water, I think you're familiar with. This one is glucose. And O2 means oxygen. So carbon dioxide and water combine and form glucose. Glucose and oxygen. Now, when you are asked to write a balanced chemical equation, you should use the formula. You should not write in words carbon dioxide. Earlier in lower classes that was permitted, but now if you're asked to write the equation for photosynthesis, you should write a balanced equation with the proper formula. So let's see how to read this. 6 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water combine in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. Glucose, see the glucose formula, it's easy to remember. CHO, CHO. And on either side, it is 6, 6. Carbon and oxygen, 6 each, and hydrogen, the double. C6H12O6. So once again, I will repeat the equation. 6 CO2 means 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll will give 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. So the main product formed is glucose. Excess glucose can be stored as starch. Excess amount of glucose produced can be stored as starch in different parts of the plant, and oxygen will be released. And that is why we say plants purify the air. They give us fresh oxygen. And from where do they get carbon dioxide? You know that when you respire, you take in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide we cannot breathe in. So this carbon dioxide will be used by the plants, and plants will convert it into oxygen. See what great help they are doing. They purify the air. We all feel so relaxed and energized after sitting under the tree or sitting amongst plants for some time. That is why people go to park. So why we visit parks? So many plants, and because of these plants, plenty of plants, so much fresh air will be there. So you feel so relaxed and energized when you get fresh air. At the same time, if you are walking through the side of the road where so many vehicles are passing, how do you feel? Do you feel so relaxed and fresh? Never, because
No.
all these vehicles will be emitting out all the poisonous gases, and that will make us feel so tired, and we become so easily tired. Whereas when you are amongst plants, when you are sitting in a clean atmosphere with plenty of plants, you feel so relaxed because the plant is giving us fresh oxygen. So they fill that place with plenty of fresh oxygen. So as a byproduct of photosynthesis, plants release oxygen. Now let's see which are the different components essential for photosynthesis. Already we said there are different factors essential for photosynthesis. The first one, sunlight. We call it as photosynthesis. What is the word meaning of photo? What is the word meaning?
Light.
Light. Photo means light. So photosynthesis means synthesis, preparation of something taking place in presence of light. So photosynthesis, the different components of photosynthesis are sunlight, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is helping the plants. So chlorophyll will absorb sunlight, and that is how chlorophyll becomes an important constituent. Then carbon dioxide, very, very important, an important raw material. How does it enter the plants? You've learned about minute openings present on the surface of leaves. In class 9 also you have learned. You call it as stomata. And oxygen is released as the byproduct. They take in carbon dioxide through stomata and they release oxygen as the byproduct. Now water. Water is another important raw material. So roots are in contact with the soil, and from there roots will absorb water and supply to different parts of the plant. So this is how the different components are useful or are important for carrying out photosynthesis. The 4 components I'll repeat once again. Sunlight, chlorophyll. Sunlight is a source of energy, because sunlight will be converted to chemical energy. So sunlight, then Second one, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is very, very important because only then plants can capture solar energy. Then water and carbon dioxide are the raw materials, and carbon dioxide enters through the stomata, and after photosynthesis is completed, oxygen will be removed out through these stomata. Then water will be taken up by the roots because water is present in the soil and roots are in contact with the soil and roots will absorb it from the soil. Any doubt? All these are very simple topics. Now we are going to learn about stomata. The picture of stomata, it's given in your textbook, all the figures. You don't have to ask me whether this diagram is there to learn. Any diagram they can ask for drawing. So you should be familiar with all the diagrams. And here you can see the picture of stomatal pores. What are stomata? Stomata are minute pores present on the surface of leaves and they help in the exchange of gases. So here you can see the picture of stomata opened and stoma closed. Single stomata is plural, single is not a singular form is stoma. So open stoma and closed stoma you can see. Just a minute. Okay. So stomata, these are tiny pores. Stomata are tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. This you have been learning from lower classes. Stomata, they are tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves and there are two specialized cells that guard the opening and closing of these pores. You call it as guard cells. So stomata, they are tiny pores present on the surface of leaves and two cells known as guard cells, they control the opening and closing of stomatal pores. Now let's see how do they control the opening and closing of stomatal pores. This can be asked how or what makes the stomata open and close. So listen carefully. The guard cells, when there is sufficient water in the plant, the guard cells will swell. So when water flows into the guard cells will get swollen. And when they swell, what happens? The stomatal pore will get opened. But at the same time, when there is no water, similarly, the pore closes if the guard cells shrink in the absence of water. Okay. So I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. Similarly, the pore closes if the guard cells shrink in the absence of water. So when water is less, if water is scarce or water is not there, in order to conserve the water present, the guard cells will shrink. That will result in the closing of stomatal pore. But when there is sufficient water, the guard cells will swell and the stomatal pores will open. So I'm going to repeat the points once again. Those who haven't followed, please listen carefully and you are going to get questions. What are stomata? These are tiny pores. These are tiny pores present on the surface of leaves. And what are guard cells? Guard cells are the cells which control the opening and closing of stomatal pores. And what makes them open and close? When water flows into the guard cells will swell. And upon swelling, the stomatal pore will open. And when there is no water, the guard cells will shrink, making the stomatal pores to close. Have you understood, children? Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So tell me, the equation for photosynthesis first. Lolita, give me the equation for photosynthesis.
Hello, ma'am.
Ah, equation for photosynthesis. Chemical equation for photosynthesis.
6CO2,
6, 6, 6 what? O2.
CO2
6 CO2, yes.
plus 6
Ah.
H2O,
6 CO2 plus 6 H2O gives, in presence of,
sunlight and chlorophyll
gives,
give 1 molecule of glucose
and,
and
correct, and 6
um,
molecules of,
6 molecules of
what else is released? What?
oxygen.
What is the formula for glucose, Lolita?
C,
C6
C6H12O6.
O6. Melvin, repeat the equation.
C, 6 CO2
6 CO2
plus 6 H2O
plus 6 H2O
become in the presence of
in
sunlight
presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives.
give 1 molecule of glucose and plus 6 molecules of oxygen.
Good, good. Okay. So 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll give 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. Which are the 4 components essential for photosynthesis? Johan, the 4 components essential for photosynthesis. Aman, mute your audio.
Sunlight,
Sunlight,
chlorophyll,
chlorophyll,
carbon dioxide, and water.
water. And what is the significance of chlorophyll? Amina, why chlorophyll is essential?
Sunlight is absorbed by the help of
Sunlight is absorbed with the help of chlorophyll. And then we learned about the pores through which gases are being exchanged. What are those pores? Surya, what do you call those pores?
Stomata.
Stomata. Tell me more about stomata. What did you learn about stomata?
Stoma means singular, stomata means plural.
Then, what is the definition for stomata, Surya?
They
These
the
are
tiny pores on the surface
tiny
of
pores present on the surface of the leaves. One more point.
the guard cells control the so it's the closing and openings of
Yes,
stomata.
guard cells control the opening and closing of stomata. And what makes the stomata open and close? Aditya Nair,
Yes, ma'am.
what makes the stomatal pore open and close?
When water pours inside the stomata, the guard cell,
Guard cells,
guard
then
cell
it will
swell.
swell. And upon
Will
swelling,
open it.
the
It will
pore will open. Then
And when there is no water, the guard cell will shrink.
and the pore will close. So till here all have understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll continue. Now we are going to see some functions of guard cells or the stomata. The functions of stomata. Exchange of gases. It will help in exchanging gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide for the purpose of photosynthesis. It will be taken in through stomata and oxygen will be released out through these stomata. Okay. And it helps in the exchange of gases. It also helps in transpiration. What is transpiration? It's the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the surface of leaves through stomata, that we call it as transpiration. I think you have learned about transpiration. So two functions, it helps in the exchange of gases, it helps in transpiration. Transpiration also in a way you can say exchange of gases because water vapor is going out through the stomata. So once again, it's a loss of water. Transpiration takes place through stomata. It's a loss of water in the form of water vapor from the surface of leaves. Okay, so that also can be considered as a sort of gaseous exchange because water vapor is also a gas. Apart from that, it also helps in regulating the temperature. It helps in regulating the temperature of the plant. It helps in cooling the plant. Regulates the temperature of the plant, or else you can say it helps in cooling the plant. Regulates the temperature of the plant. So this takes place once as a result of transpiration. Children, you know that we sweat during hot season. Present situation, we sweat a lot. And after sweating, you feel cool. It's your body's own mechanism to regulate your body temperature. So upon sweating, we will feel cool. Same is the case with the plants. Transpiration is a sort of sweating. So water is being evaporated from its body, and that will help in regulating the temperature of the plant. As a result of transpiration, the temperature of the plant is getting regulated. Okay. This
Yes, ma'am.
helps in regulating or cools the plant or helps in regulating the temperature of the plant. I'll repeat the points once again. Exchange of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Second function, transpiration. Transpiration is a loss of water in the form of water vapor from the surface of leaves, and this will help in regulating the temperature of the plant. Okay. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Main events of photosynthesis. So before we start discussing about the main events of photosynthesis, tell me the functions of stomata. What are the functions? Nas, what are the functions performed by stomata?
Exchange of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Um, helps
Second
in
function. Oh, wait, I'll ask Haya. Haya, tell me the second function.
Help in transpiration, loss of water in the form of water vapor from
This
the
will in
surface of
turn
the
help in
stomata. Transpiration.
No, transpiration will help in.
When transpiration takes place, it regulates the temperature of the plants.
Yes. So transpiration takes place through stomata and it will help in regulating the temperature of the plant or helps in cooling the plant. Just like we feel cool upon sweating, when transpiration takes place, the plant gets cooled. Okay. Now we are going to learn about the three main events in photosynthesis. Very, very important. It had been repeatedly asked earlier. You can expect questions from this topic. Main events of photosynthesis. First event, absorption of light energy or solar energy by chlorophyll. That is the first step in photosynthesis. Moving on to the second step, conversion of light energy into chemical energy. So first step, light energy is absorbed. Second step, light energy is converted into chemical energy and water will be split into hydrogen and oxygen. And the last step, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. You should tell these steps in the same order. You should not jumble the order. Same order you should say. I'll repeat the points once again. Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. And second step has got two subdivisions. One is conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. No need to get confused with the elements, because water formula is this. It consists of hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen. So don't write nitrogen or carbon or some other elements. Remember the formula for water. So hydrogen and oxygen make up water. So water will be split and they will form hydrogen and oxygen. And the third step is reducing carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. I'll repeat once again. The first step is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Point number 2, conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. Point number 3, conversion of carbon dioxide or reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Clear? So 3 main events in photosynthesis. First one, absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Second step, conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. Final step, reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. Who will tell me that? Muhammad
And
Aman.
I'll say
Wait. Muhammad Aman,
Yes, ma'am.
give me the 3 main events in photosynthesis. Rose, Sibi, Rizwan, Savio. Turn your videos on. Yes.
By chlorophyll.
Yes, Aman?
Absorption of solar energy by chlorophyll.
Yes.
Conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen.
Very good. And finally,
Reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates.
yes. Adil.
ma'am,
Ah,
can you show slide again?
you try. I will help you. I'll show the slide again. Try first step, at least first step.
Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll.
Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. And second event,
Conversion of light energy into chemical energy and
conversion
splitting
of
of
light
water
energy
into
into chemical energy and
splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen.
splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. And last step, Adil,
Reduction of carbon dioxide
reduction
to
of carbon dioxide into
carbohydrates.
carbohydrates. So once again, the main events in photosynthesis, absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy into chemical energy, splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. And the last step, carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrates. Okay? Is it clear? Adidev?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So shall I proceed? Yes, Adi?
No.
You want me to explain again?
No, ma'am. Can you?
Yes. You want me to show the slide for some more time? Okay, write down.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, write down. Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen. And the last one, reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. Shall I proceed, Adi? These points are there as points. These are given in your textbook, page number 96. Okay. Now next, we are going to learn about heterotrophic nutrition. So before I proceed to heterotrophic nutrition, one more point I need to tell you, like these 3 steps. So just now I told you about 3 steps, but these 3 steps, it is not necessary that it should take place one after the other immediately. So even though there are 3 main events, it is not necessary that immediately after the one, the second step should continue, and then the third one. So it's not necessary that these 3 steps should take place one after the other immediately. Why? Because in case of desert plants, so desert plants, you know that their water is very scarce. Water is very less in desert. So what they do is they will absorb carbon dioxide at night. So at night time, they will take in carbon dioxide. And what they do is they will prepare an intermediate product. You don't have to learn the name of the product form. So they will convert this into an intermediate product, and then during the daytime, this will be acted upon by the energy, solar energy, which is absorbed by chlorophyll during the daytime. And why it is done? What is the need? I'll repeat once again. We learned about 3 main events in photosynthesis. And, and I told you that it is not necessary that these 3 steps should take place one after the other immediately. One step can take place at night, then it can continue during the daytime. It is not necessary that one after the other immediately these steps should take place. As I said, desert plants, they take in carbon dioxide during the night time. And what they do, they convert this carbon dioxide to an intermediate product, not the final one. They convert it into an intermediate product. And then during the daytime, that intermediate product will be acted upon by the energy absorbed by chlorophyll, and it will result in the formation of glucose or carbohydrate. Okay. Who can tell me why this is done in desert plants? Why they can't absorb carbon dioxide during the daytime? Who will tell me?
Conservation of water.
How can they conserve water by taking carbon dioxide at night? Explain.
Ma'am, during the
They-
daytime, the evaporation.
During daytime, through where carbon dioxide is being taken in?
To stomata.
Stomata. So during the daytime, if they keep it open for taking carbon dioxide, through the same opening, what can go out?
Water.
Water.
Water. Water can go out in the form of water vapor. So what will happen if they keep the stomata open during the daytime for taking in carbon dioxide? Water also can escape out, and as such, the plant is in a very dry condition. So the plant won't get, there'll be scarcity of water. There'll be so much water loss from its body. So in order to prevent that, what they do is during the night time, because the temperature is less, when you compare with the daytime, at night will be cooler. So during the night time, they'll keep their stomata open and they will take in carbon dioxide. And during the daytime, stomata will be closed. Okay, already they have taken in carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide taken in will be acted upon by solar energy. So it is a measure, it's an adaptation to conserve water. Clear? It's given
Yes, ma'am.
just below these 3 steps. You should not ignore. That is what I said. So such lines you should not. You might learn the 3 main events in photosynthesis, and 2-3 lines given below that you might skip, thinking that it is not important. But you should read each and every line. And being board exam students, it's very essential that you're familiar with all the lines given in your textbook. Let it be a figure or whatever it is. So the headings given for the figures also you should be familiar with. You should read and understand, even though we say the boxes given in the textbook are not necessary. You don't have to learn it. But I will recommend you to read it. Just read it. I'm not asking you to by heart it, but just read what is given over there. You should be familiar with what is given in the boxes also. Okay. So hope you have understood why desert plants are taking in carbon dioxide during the night time. It's an adaptation for conserving water. So during the night time, they will take in carbon dioxide and convert it into an intermediate product which will be acted upon during the daytime by solar energy. So autotrophic nutrition, hope you have understood. So we are proceeding to the next one. Which is the next type of nutrition? Heterotrophic. Hetero means other. Heterotrophic nutrition means here for nutrition, organisms will have to depend upon other organisms. So let us learn more about heterotrophic nutrition. This is characteristic of all animals, including man, fungi, bacteria, non-green plants. So those bacteria which cannot, some of them I said they can carry out autotrophic nutrition, but there are many bacteria who cannot perform photosynthesis or who cannot perform autotrophic nutrition. So such bacteria, non-green plants, man, fungi, they all carry out heterotrophic nutrition. They depend on autotrophs either directly or indirectly. They can depend on green plants. It can be a direct dependence. Like if you take the case of the herbivores, they are directly dependent. But omnivores, carnivores, they can be either directly or indirectly dependent. But carnivores, they are indirectly dependent on plants. We all depend on plants either directly or indirectly. So heterotrophs, they depend upon the plants either directly or indirectly. The form of nutrition, there are different types of heterotrophic nutrition and it depends upon different factors. So the type of heterotrophic nutrition depends on the type of food, availability of food material, and the manner in which it is obtained by the organism. So there are different types of heterotrophic nutrition, and the types of nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition, depends upon three factors. Which are they? Type of food, availability of food material, and the manner in which it is taken, obtained by the organism. Once again, the type of food. All organisms are not consuming or not eating the same type of food. So the type of food, availability, how much available it is, availability of food material, and the manner in which the food is obtained by the organism. So heterotrophic nutrition, it's a mode of nutrition in which organisms depend upon other organisms for their food. And we all depend on autotrophs either directly or indirectly. And there are different modes of heterotrophic nutrition and three factors I listed out. Which are the three factors, Emil, that decides the mode of heterotrophic nutrition?
Ma'am, will you show the slide again?
Wait, I will show. Emil? Emil? Emil, give me the answer. 3 points, 3 factors I said. First
I
one,
forgot to note it down.
louder.
I forgot to note it down.
So that means you are simply sitting. I understood you have forgotten to note it down. But you forgot to listen also. If you have listened, you can recollect. I did not tell any
No, ma'am.
tough words. Let me see whether others have listened. Rifa, Afsana and Sainaba, Rizwan, Savio, please don't make me note down your names. Yes, Rifa, give me the answer.
Ma'am, the bladder in which they are stored in.
Hmm?
Ma'am, I was about.
You went to the kitchen in between, no?
No, ma'am, I was writing. So I
Ma'am,
didn't
the
From
know
where
type
this
of
bladder
food.
came?
No, ma'am, the food stored in. Like,
You were not there.
The
Either
type
you
of
were
food.
chatting or you went somewhere.
no, ma'am, I was writing. I reached.
At least
that
one
heading.
point you will tell correctly. No, I told it 3 or 4 times I repeated. Who can tell me the points? Prajod?
Ma'am, the type of food only now.
Prajod? 3
depend on
points.
order
3
of
points I said,
hierarchy.
based on which the modes of nutrition are there. Which are those 3 points? Very simple terms. It's not anything complicated. The only thing is that some of them failed to listen. Prajot,
Characteristics of animals including man,
louder.
any bacteria,
Bacteria. Badra,
they depend on autotrophs in the
Prajot, did you understand my question? What are the 3 factors based on which we have different types of nutrition, modes of nutrition depend upon 3 factors. Badra, which are those 3?
Type of food,
Hmm.
availability of food material,
Hmm.
and the manner how the organisms obtain the food.
Food. Nirupama, which are those 3?
Type of food,
Type of food,
food material, the manner which
the manner in which, the manner in which
organisms obtain
organism obtain its food, and the third one,
availability
availability of food material. So which are the 3 factors upon which the modes of nutrition depend on?
the type of
Hadidi,
ma'am, they
Hadidi,
then the type of food,
type of food,
availability of food materials,
availability of food material,
the manner in which.
the manner in which,
Third point I didn't write.
the
That
manner
only
in
I-
which food is obtained. The manner in which food is obtained. Children, I told you to note down the points. But that doesn't mean that if you haven't noted it down, you cannot recollect. You should listen and write down. Okay, if you haven't written it down, how can you forget what you have heard? Okay, let me continue. The type of food, availability of food material, and the manner in which the food is obtained by the organism. Now we are moving on to the mode of nutrition. In which organism is this?
amoeba.
Amoeba. Amoeba shows heterotrophic nutrition. And the mode, the type of nutrition, the type of heterotrophic nutrition found in amoeba is holozoic. I told you, there are different types of heterotrophic nutrition. The first one we are going to learn is holozoic. Holozoic nutrition. It is found in organisms like amoeba. Not only amoeba, even human beings carry out holozoic nutrition. Now let's see what is holozoic nutrition. Here the organisms take in the whole food material. The food material is taken in, and inside our body, it will be broken down. So such method or this mode of nutrition is known as holozoic nutrition. So I told, depending upon the type of food, availability of food material, and the manner in which food is obtained, there are different modes of heterotrophic nutrition. The first one is holozoic nutrition. Examples, human beings, amoeba. And what is holozoic nutrition? Holozoic nutrition is a mode of nutrition where organisms will take in the whole food material and it is broken down inside their bodies. Okay, the other types of heterotrophic nutrition we will learn next class. So the first heterotrophic mode of
Ma'am,
nutrition
can you-
that we learned is Rose?
Holozoic.
Holozoic. Examples? Surya, examples?
Amoeba.
Amoeba, human being. And what, Afsana, what is holozoic nutrition? What is meant by holozoic nutrition? Afsana. Where is Afsana? As soon as she got the question, she left, no? Very good. Okay, Rifa. Rifa.
Yes, ma'am. In Holozoic nutrition, the organisms take in the food materials as a whole, and it is broken down inside the body.
body. Okay. Anne Mary, repeat the answer. Children, one more thing, let me say, if you don't know the answer, you say, I don't know the answer. You might get scolding, that is different thing. But don't behave like this. You saw no just now, she was yawning. That's why I asked her the question. Immediately she left. Don't do that. Okay. To whom I asked just now?
Anne Mary.
Whom did I ask the question now?
Anne Mary, ma'am.
Okay, Anne Mary. She also went? Ah, yes, she's here. Okay. Yes, Anne Mary. Your connectivity was fine till now. I could see your video. Everything was fine till now. How come the connectivity went? Vishnu? Vishnu, what is the answer?
Ma'am,
What is holozoic nutrition?
in Holozoic nutrition,
Ah.
the food is
In
taken.
holozoic nutrition, food is? Vishnu, continue. I'm waiting for you.
In Holozoic nutrition,
You're checking the
food is-
answer in the book?
Can you hear me?
Wait, Anne Mary, I will give you a chance. Yes, Vishnu.
in Holozoic nutrition, food is taken through a hole and broken down inside the
Inside
body.
the body. The whole food material will be taken in and it will be broken down inside the body. Yes, Anne Mary, you may repeat. Anne Mary, you may repeat.
The body.
Once again.
The mode of transmission in which the organism
Not transmission, the mode of nutrition. Not transmission.
Take in the whole material and break it down inside their body.
Yes. See, children, I'm not teaching you any complicated terms. Very simple, easy to understand nutrition from lower classes you're learning. And I want a better performance and better concentration from next class onwards. Okay, don't disappoint us. Heard? And some of them are so tired. I don't know, first period you said, no? This is your first period. What makes you feel so tired?
Nothing.
Maybe you got up just now. That is what I should understand.